Right, we got a lot of things to talk about, alright? We got to talk about it. Everyone's talking about it. And I'm going to talk about it with you today. That is the current state of Modern Warfare 2. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. We are back today with a bit of a topic video. Modern Warfare 2 is a hot topic at the moment. Everyone's talking about it. And I wanted to get in on this as well. But from a different standpoint, in the positive corner, not the negative corner. Because there's a lot of negativity out there. And I want to get in the corner of the positivity of Modern Warfare 2. Like Mike Tyson, mate, in the corner. You know, but hopefully you all had a good day and you all had a fantastic weekend of playing Call of Duty, first opening week. Whenever you're watching this, hopefully you have enjoyed the first week of Modern Warfare 2. It's been a really good weekend of Modern Warfare 2. I've absolutely loved it. I know starting from yesterday, there's been a lot of negativity with Modern Warfare 2, which is quite surprising because I had no bitching over the weekend, but soon I woke up Monday morning, everyone's gone on their fucking mobile bloody phones and kind of gone bloody just going absolutely bananas, going, mate, I don't like Call of Duty, don't like this, don't like that, even though there was no bitching over the weekend. And we want to talk about it today, talk about what people have been moaning about. I've really thought about the topics and stuff like that. I do want to start off on the standpoint, I haven't played gallons of Modern Warfare 2. I've probably, because I have been working all weekend, so I've played a few hours each evening, so I've not probably put in, say, like 30 hours like some people have 12-hour days since launch. So I just want to clarify that before going into this. So I understand people's frustrations with this, but sometimes it's just like people just get a bit too wrapped up on it, and we will go into certain things which I want to talk about today. So starting off from the very top, the first complaint I saw of Call of Duty, people moaning about the price of the game, and I'm just like, bro, AAA titles are gonna charge 70 quid. It's 70 goddamn quid. Look at Battlefield. It charged me £100. That game was more unfinished than this game, which I don't understand. If people are bitching about Call of Duty, like, I can't believe they've given us an unfinished game. Look at Battlefield. If you paid £100 like Battlefield, like I did, that game was literally incomplete. Don't bitch about it, alright? Play Battlefield 2042, pay £100 on that. That's literally the defined meaning of an unfinished game. That game was fucking so unfinished, but it was sort of playable, but that game literally had nothing. It didn't even have like what you call, like, you can't even look at the scoreboards. It didn't have scoreboards in the game. You just kind of had nothing. You just had to guess where you were on the scoreboard. So just think of that as an example. Look at Battlefield 2042, that game versus Modern Warfare 2. We've got a more finished game in this game than we did with that game, all right? So I want to bury the hatch on that right now, because a lot of people are moaning about the price of this game and, like, it's unfinished. Battlefield 2042. I'm just saying that, all right? I'm just saying that now. So I understand one perspective, because a lot of people have been moaning about the price because they brought the standard edition, but they wanted to get an upgrade, which I know has been a problem on Xbox, I believe it is, from what I've gathered on social media, where you can upgrade from the standard edition to deluxe edition, so you get a special few skins and stuff like that, and it's £30. It is dollars, probably $35, and it's been a bit of a bug, but I think they have addressed it. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a bug in a minute. Give it a bit of time, it will be fixed. It's just a thing that I don't have that problem on PlayStation, because that's what I'm playing on, PlayStation 5. PC, I've not really heard about problems on that. It only seems to be an Xbox problem from what I can gather. Don't quote me on that. Might be completely wrong. Might be a few other people as well, PC, PlayStation as well. But generally, like, people have been kind of really talking about the lack of content in this packaged game, Battlefield 2042. That's all I'm going to keep saying now. Referencing back to that game. Lacking content. But the majority of people I have seen being complaining about the game with the lack of content are the people who've been playing it 12 hours a day since it's come out. So when it came out on Friday at 5 o'clock, was it 5 o'clock? I don't know. Yeah, 5 AM and midnight and that. It's like, so people since Friday be 12 hours a day playing it. They've max leveled it already. They've max leveled it. Obviously in previous Call of Duties you would have prestiges. This one they're not doing prestiges, so it's one of them. You do get a bit to a limit, but Season 1 is literally only a week away. It's only a week away. So in that meantime, you can just grind out weapons and stuff like that, get camos and stuff like that, which I don't know why that's not a problem. It's like, go get gold guns, go get this, go and get that. But I can understand like the frustration, like season 1 not being with this game at the start of launch, and I'm like, totally understand. But the way I feel like the way they've drip feeding the content over to us at the minute, I really like it. Like, give us a campaign a week early. It's probably the most people have played a campaign in years in Call of Duty, because most people you speak to skip out on the campaign. So the campaign stats are probably really high. It's the highest probably like ever. Like, you give the game a week early, and I think it's a really good strategy, because you know what, get people hyped for the multiplayer, because once you finish the story you want to play the multiplayer, but you got to wait a week and stuff like that, so that gives you time to go play it on veteran and stuff like that, go and get them achievements if you're an achievement hunter and stuff like that. And it's really, really good. I really like that idea. Then obviously in multiplayer a week later, then a week later after that we're going to be getting Warzone with the season 1. I think the way they have dropped the content is really, really good, and I don't know if a lot of people are liking that, because I'm seeing a lot of people kind of go, Warzone should have been dropped with it, it should have been this, they should have delayed the game until when Warzone was ready. I'm just like, guys, you all want Warzone, totally understand that. Warzone is going to be the thing. Once Warzone's out, the people who are complaining about multiplayer at the moment, they'll be absolutely loving it because Warzone's out, and you won't hear any more bitching about the game. That's the problem you got there, is people who are bitching about Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer at the moment are the people who just want Warzone, because they've got nothing to do now. It's like, oh, okay, I've done this now, what can I do now? It's like, guys, it's like literally you bloody... you rinse the game out. If you max leveled it that quickly, then just keep grinding away. Try and maybe like find objectives. Try and find like a good loadout. Get ready for Warzone. Be creative a little bit. So it's like, try and find like if you've got overkill, like a really good sniper setup, which you think is going to be really good for Warzone. Find out, mess with the meta. Get ready for Warzone. Why can't people do that? That's what I just don't quite get. It's like, be ready, because you're going to be able to take your classes from multiplayer and take it over to Warzone. Find your setups, get ready, and when Warzone drops day 1, you can go and get them W's. Go and get them winner chicken dinners, alright? Freaking victory royales, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what it is on Call of Duty, but go and get the meats. Go and get it. Like, be ready for it. Be prepared as much as you can. That's the one thing I'm just like finding at the moment. It's like, you've got a week until Warzone's out. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Go find them setups. There's stuff to do in the game, which I find quite kind of upsetting, really, because people are bitching. It's like, these little things that you could be doing in the game, but they're not doing it. Instead of just complaining about it on Twitter. So yeah, it's like, So another one I have seen people be moaning about is the new gun system in Call of Duty, which I'm just kind of like, it's different. It's something to get used to because it's change. But I quite like the angle they're doing with it a bit. Honestly, it's very frustrating. It is very frustrating, but I kind of see what they're doing. Because say you've got, if you haven't played Modern Warfare, you don't quite understand what I'm on about. If you want to use this pen, but I have to use this pen first to get this to level 5 to unlock this pen, then... Once I unlock this pen, I want to get a red dot for this gun, then I have to level up this tube. So I have to use a different this to then unlock the attachment on this gun. Basically, you have to use different guns to level up your... get stuff for your guns and stuff like that. Which I think of this way is it's getting you to try other guns. It's like, instead of you finding your MP5, unlocking your MP5, and you use that gun for the next 2 years, it's getting you to kind of experiment around, because you might surprisingly find a gun that you might like I ain't using that marksman, but you might try it out, but like, you know what, this gun's pretty good. It's getting you to step out your comfort zone, try something a little bit different. And as well with the overall, what you call the setups and like the in-depthness of the guns, you can unlock different attachments and you can change the gun to suit your playstyle a little bit. So that's the way I would look at it with this new class system. It's getting you to step outside your comfort zone. Instead of always being in the assault rifle kind of gun or submachine gun, you might find a marksman rifle, or a sniper rifle, or an LMG, which you would never, ever, ever, ever use. And you might be like, oh, this has got a bit of punch. This could be a meta gun, really. It could really be that. And you find like a really good combo with it. That's the way I would look at it. It's like, it's trying to get you to step outside your comfort zone and really try something different. Instead of you always just using the same gun every single fucking game, and you just end up getting bored, and you just end up always messing around within that bubble. So mess around with that MP5, trying out different things. When you've tried everything out on a gun, you just get bored. So it's getting you to try different things, which people don't like change, but sometimes it's good to do a little bit of change, step out your comfort zone, and you might find, like, if you've never used a sniper before in your life, you might be surprisingly really good at a sniper. See where I'm coming from? Then you change up your game styles. Like, you might be a very fast, aggressive player, but then you might discover you're really good as a sniper, and you can do sniping and get like really good headshots and stuff like that. You might just find like another alternative play style that you're good at. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at, really, which I think is a really good move from Infinity Ward to try and mix up the gameplay a little bit, because instead of all having your sweaty tryhards running around with their MP5s and stuff like that. So it's getting you to do other stuff to unlock stuff for that particular gun, but while doing that, you're also changing up the meta a little bit, and like, it's not always going to be the same because everyone's going to be using different guns. A lot of gun rotation, basically. Another one I've been seeing as well, people moaning about the maps. I'm quite going to probably scare you lot now while I say this. This is the first Call of Duty I have generally played the maps, and I have not hated them. It's quite weird for me to say that. There are some maps I don't like as much, but I don't hate them. So yeah, that's where I kind of want to go with that one, because I don't see a map that loads up and I kind of go, oh, not that one. I bloody hate this one. It's like the most, I think, I don't have the name at the top of my head at the moment, but it's the one where it's got loads of cars and it's on like a highway. A lot of people hate that game, that one, because it's like there's no flowness to it or anything like that. I'm like, it's different. Like, yeah, you get on top of vehicles and stuff like that, but it hasn't got your classic 3 lanes of Call of Duty. And I'm like, well, it has one particular lane, and that is where you got the tunnel. The tunnel. Every time I'm like, right, I can't find anyone here, I'm going to resort to the tunnel. You got to find someone on that tunnel, and you got the tunnel there, and you are gonna. I don't find that bad, to be fair. Don't hate that map. I quite find it all right. It's like, I just get to the tunnel, doof. You find loads of people there, then you kind of branch off from there in a way. So it's really hard for me to say that, really. Well, it's not hard for me to say that. It's like, there's not a game map that I don't hate, but there's not a map that I super love at the minute. It's like, they're all kind of like even at them. I'm like, yeah, they're all kind of all right. They're a bit different enough, and nothing for me to kind of go, this one's amazing, this one's terrible. It's like, no, they're all about subpar at the minute. I'm like, I've quite enjoyed every single one. I think obviously more people play the modes a bit more, well, playing the maps a bit more, learning the spawn points and stuff like that. Then obviously I might get more frustrated with certain maps down the line. But at this moment, within the first like few days of the game being out, there's not a map I find frustrating or anything like that. So it's quite bizarre quite bizarre for me to say that. You'd probably be shocked by me saying that. But generally being open for you, generally being open with you. I know there's a lot of people be moaning about the layouts of the maps and stuff like that, like where things are on the maps and stuff like that, but I generally don't find a problem with the layouts of the maps. I think they're pretty, like, alright. Only thing I would say about the layouts of the maps, some objectives, so like if I've been playing domination, certain areas are being more of a dominant area than I thought they were going to be. So, which is good, because it's catching me off surprise. So I'm having to adapt, kind of like, okay, this is the main dominant area, which I do like. So I'm adapting to that, and catching me off guard, really, because like areas that you'd think be really busy are quite the opposite. It's different areas, and it's probably now playing it more and thinking of it, speaking out about it, it makes sense for that area to be very dominant. So yeah, that's the kind of thing with the game. Like some areas I look at, I thought that's going to be really busy with snipers and stuff like that. But no, it's quite the opposite. It's like less snipers, less action over here, but more action over here, which is quite good. Obviously, catches you off guard a little bit there. And obviously, everyone's been talking about this. But it's in every single Call of Duty. The matchmaking. Oh, the glorious matchmaking. The skill, like the player base, like good players versus bad players, and good players versus good players, bad versus bad. It's broken. It needs to be fixed, Infinity Ward. Fix it. It's unplayable. It's never been working anyway. I can't remember a time where someone's gone, yeah, the matchmaking is really good in this game. It works. I think it's been broke for about the last decade. From what I've gathered, like, I don't understand that. It's like, there's no matchmaking in the game. Like, the player, like, skill thing, whatever you call it. I can't think of it top of my brain at the minute, but it's never worked. It has never worked. It's like, I think with the games, there's probably some sort of like algorithm thing to it that puts you sometimes in a game where you got a super like loads of optic people running around, and you got some like running around like some noobs and stuff like that. It's like, it's a very fluctuant. I think you've got to have your good games to have your bad games. That's kind of like the mentality I have. There are some games that are going to be particularly more annoying than others, but that's the package that you get with Call of Duty, because I could play Call of Duty like I have been like this last weekend, and I had a really good game. Then I had a few alright games, but I had like 1 or 2 really bad games. It's good to have variety. You can't have every single good game, because you have a really good game every single time, then it'd get boring, won't it? Because you'd be like, oh, okay, I just got 50 kills. Oh, that's my average. Like, you got them games where you're like, fucking hell, I dropped 30 kills this game and like 5 deaths. Then the next game you might be like, oh, it's quite the opposite actually. I've had 5 kills and 10 deaths. Oh Christ, it's quite weird going from this kind of a game to this. It's like, it's really off balance in a way, and that's good. That's good, I feel. Obviously, it's good for win streaks and stuff like that. So, whatever way you play Call of Duty, obviously, each to their own. But generally, it's just one of them. I'm just like, the matchmaker's never worked. God, I really don't understand when people say it's broken. I don't ever think it's ever worked. And God, to be honest, I don't ever think it's ever worked. It's really quite surprising. And generally as well, there's just a few other things I just want to kind of lean into as well. It's about my thoughts of Call of Duty, who they're trying to aim at, because there's been a few people who's like, they're taken away from the hardcore Call of Duty players and stuff like that, and they don't really care about the hardcore fans who play it year in, year out, even if it's a bad game. I totally understand that side of it. I really do understand that, because there's a few things like in that area, obviously, like the prestige and there's like the ranking system, the guns, the general like maps, all of it that comes into that sector of like for the hardcore fans. Like, I totally understand their voice, but they're also got to try and bring new fans into the franchise as well. That's the thing you gotta do with Call of Duty. It's good having a core player base, but with Call of Duty, it's very important as well to also always be bringing in new audience every single year. That's the very key thing, especially with Activision, because they like money. They like money, and they want to try and like entice in more players. And I think if you guys can remember from the multiplayer reveal, the developers are trying. They were talking about like the classes like in the game, so like your campers, your fast players, just quick scopers, all them sort of things. They were talking about the different roles that people play in COD, and they were talking particularly about the sweats and stuff like that in Call of Duty. And for the people who play, like, you got the tryhards versus the casual players. There's a lot of tryharders in Call of Duty, but there's not many too casuals in Call of Duty, and they're trying to balance it out, because they're finding that a lot of the casual players play it for about a week or two, they get frustrated when they stop playing the game, then their player count drops down, then you've got the tryhards who stay on the game, and that's all they have. So I think they're just trying to balance the scales a little bit, so like keep competitive like tryhard people who play Call of Duty every single year, but trying to keep them casual gamers coming back every single day to play a few games of Call of Duty. That's what I just generally feel like with Call of Duty, what they're trying to do. And they've sort of talked about it as well. It's like the way they're particularly, I can't remember what word it was, but they were like, you've got your runners, which basically is your sweats. You've got your snipers, who are the, I don't know, they had like all different keywords, but obviously us COD players, you've got your campers, you've got your sweats, you've got your sniper classes, or trick shooters and stuff like that. We got different terms, and I think they're really trying to lead into the casual kind of player in a way, because if you think of a casual player who plays Call of Duty, someone who comes home from work, plays a few games with his mates or solo after a day's work, that's the kind of thing, that's what I think they're trying to lead into, that casual kind of player to play Call of Duty. Because I don't really know with COD these days, because I don't hear many kids these days talking about Call of Duty. So I feel like the fan base at the moment has kind of got its core audience, and it's trying to lead to the casual gaming a little bit more, I feel. So it means the people who get frustrated at COD and stop playing it, they're trying to keep them in the game for a bit longer. I think that's why UAVs are off now. Kill leaderboards are not a thing now, because they're trying to lead it to the casual gamers. Because if you've got all these competitive things like KD and stuff like that, it's going to entice people off, and stuff like that. And that should be a thing added into COD anyway. I think leaderboards should be a thing, because I like to always like track my game time. I don't know how much I've actually played COD. That's why I'm like, I played a few hours over the last few evenings. That's about it. I can't give you an actual how much I've played, because there's no leaderboards at the minute. Hopefully that is a thing they do add. But yeah, I could kind of see like if they don't add it, because they're trying to keep it casual and like not keep that sort of thing like stats about. Because yeah, it's banter between your mates, like, oh mate, look at your KD, look at like your this or that, and I totally get all of that, but maybe like numb it down a little bit, so it's like maybe only you can see it, not your mates, sort of thing like that, so you don't get too upset by it. Or I don't really know, do it some way. I think it's definitely needs to be added to the game, but I think that's why they've not added it at the moment, because I think they're trying to lead to the casual side of it a bit more. I've also seen some people as well on social media this week, yesterday, Monday, whenever I release this video, it's Monday, Halloween, it was Halloween, people just really complaining about it, and really going in, like, bring back the old maps, bring back this, bring back that, we want the old school vibes of Call of Duty back, because this game is terrible, the maps are terrible, everything about this game is terrible. Remake, bring back the old maps, bring this, bring that, because they work. I don't think that's going to be good when people say that. It's like, yeah, these games are great, but if they're that great, why don't you not just go back and play them? Because Modern Warfare 2 servers are still online. If you want to play Modern Warfare 2 that bad, go back and play it. Make it popular again. Get all the content creators and go play that game. Because game servers are online. They're not turned off. If you want to play it that badly, go play it. That's what I say. Because you're not going to get that same kind of environment with the game. Because a lot of people got to remember, like, I've done a lot of research into Infinity Ward. COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 had the same core developers. Then when Modern Warfare 3 came out, well, in between Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, a lot of the developers left. That's a lot of things. Like, the people who made Call of Duty, COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, half of the developers left. And if you guys remember Modern Warfare 3, it wasn't quite the same. It was still good, but they had to bring in Sledgehammer Games to help them finish the game because half the studio left. You got to remember that. It's like, it's not the same core people who made Call of Duty. Like COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2, the core staff who made that game, they now work at Respawn, the guys who make Apex Legends. You got to remember that as well. A lot of people, I think, do forget that. Like, you're not going to get them COD 4, Modern Warfare 2 kind of vibes again because the team's broken up. Half the team of who worked on COD 4 and that now work at EA. They work on Apex Legends or Titanfall 3 and stuff like that now. Now, you've got some of the people who did work on it who are still here in Call of Duty, like it's still Infinity Ward, but it's not the same core people who were. Because if you set up the same core people, you probably would still kind of get them vibes. But that's why you get some of the vibes and some like new, fresh ideas, because they're trying to jigsaw it together and make it work. That's what you got to remember as well with this game. You're not going to get the same thing, because like if you, especially like remaking the game, because like technically Modern Warfare 2 is remastered. It's sat on a shelf doing nothing. From what I've gathered from reports I read online, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer is remastered, ready to launch, but they won't do it because the backlash they got from Modern Warfare Call of Duty 4 remastered. That game came out, everyone slated that game. I've never seen a remake of a game get slaughtered so hard. It's like everyone's saying how bad the maps were, the spawns, the guns didn't feel the same. Because it's been tuned up, played really nicely. And for me, I love COD 4 Remastered. I thought, yeah, this is how I imagine it to be. It's not going to be that old nostalgia of COD 4, because that was really like clunky and stuff like that. Gaming's moved forward. It's more smoother and stuff like that. And that's that. It's really, that's not what I'm just trying to get at there. It's kind of like, if they remastered Modern Warfare 2, you're just going to bitch about it. That's why it's never going to be done. That's why it just never got released, because they were planning on doing it, because they brought the campaign out. They brought the campaign out, which everyone's like, oh my god, the campaign was good. The guns felt amazing and stuff like that. But the multiplayers is going to get absolutely shit on, because COD 4 got the exact same treatment. Like multiplayer, absolutely amazing, visually great, felt great. Multiplayer came out, everyone hated on it, absolutely hated on it, and that's why it's never going to happen. And especially people are moaning about the maps as well. Reports are already saying over the next 2 years they're going to be adding in maps from Modern Warfare 2. Like High Rise has already been seen in a teaser of Modern Warfare, so they're going to be coming with every single season in the next 2 years. I would not be surprised you do get like a good chunk of the core maps from Modern Warfare 2, maybe a few COD 4 maps as well chucked into this game. So I would not be surprised at all. But it's be patient, because if you guys drop all the content in one go, like all the old maps, then what are you going to do for the next 2 years? You're going to be bored, you're not going to play it, are you? So they've got to keep enticing coming back, like new maps every season, every few months, new map. So be patient, all right? Patience is key there. And the system, this one's particularly got me, all right? So the ranking system, Call of Duty, people have been bitching about the ranking system. So the ranking system, obviously, people got bored of it. It's like, oh, it's just level the prestige. When I got max prestige, I don't play the game because it's boring. I'll only play it if my mates are playing it. But even then, they get bored and stuff like that. So they've changed it up. They've gone for this whole, like, rank 50, then you kind of get reset every season. I think that was the thing with Modern Warfare 2019. You just got reset when you level up again, which I didn't really like that system, because I miss the old system of ranking up. I do miss it. But I like the sense of reward that you got from prestige, and it's like, I got a cool new badge. That's what I liked. But I feel like the ranking system is a very weird way. It's like, it's not perfect. They do need to change something about it. I definitely 100% agree with that. Like, they need to do something. Like, particularly myself, I would separate the rankings. I would have a multiplayer ranking, then you have your season ranking sort of thing. So have two different rankings altogether. Like, you have your prestige ranking, then once you've got max prestige there, then you have your season. So you have your season levels, where you can earn extra bits, camos, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then you have your prestige as well, which is a bonus badge that you can show off in multiplayer, Warzone and stuff like that. Which is your prestige season pass. So, like, it shows that you've played every single season. If you don't have that, then I don't know. I would just try and create it so it's like you have good two different systems. That's what I would do myself. So you've got your multiplayer ranking, because when you play multiplayer, that's its own little thing. And then when you play Warzone and stuff like that, that's its own little thing as well. Like, even have like a different ranking system for Warzone maybe. So you got more stuff to do. There's like more leveling to do over here, leveling over there. I don't really know. I feel like it does need to be worked on a little bit more better because it's just a bit of thing. But even go back to Black Ops 3 maybe, or Black Ops 4 was it? I think it was Black Ops 3, where just like have an uncap on the prestiging maybe, because you know what? Why not? If it's got to keep people happy, like they can just keep prestiging over and over and over and playing Warzone more and more and more and more, then just do that. Or just, I don't really know. It's something that does need to be working on. I haven't got like a unique idea for it, but I get the ranking system because I got frustrated with Modern Warfare 2019, where I would sweat so hard at leveling up on multiplayer, on like a new season pass and that, then it gets taken away. It really kind of grinding my gears because like, oh right, I've got level 2, blah blah blah. Then new season arrives, I'm now back down. I'm like, it doesn't feel like I've progressed in a way. It doesn't feel like I progress. I want to feel like I'm progressing in the game, and it shows my hard work that I've put into the game. Like, yeah, I've got playtime, which I've got like X amount of days, but I don't have nothing to show off for it. That's the thing that I think that's what people used to like with Modern Warfare, the ranking system. Like, you had something to show that you played a lot, which I feel like they just need to kind of work on a bit, but also having that season combo, that season pass to kind of work with it. So it's just finding that jigsaw which works well, which I feel like they will get right, but I just don't feel it's right at the moment. So I definitely get the leveling system, but I don't think we're going to get it the same as it used to be. But they need to find something that works a bit more better. Because if you've got a ranking system, like, say, if people like play 12 hours a day over 3 days and got the rank 55, if they do that for each season, then we're going to have problems. Because if a new season drops, someone sweats really hard 12 hours a day and playing on Warzone, multiplayer, they're going to be max prestige, or max that prestige for that season within 3 days. So they need to do something to kind of counteract that. So maybe you get so many prestiges in a season. I don't really know. I don't think they really talked about it that much, but all I know is going to be season prestiges. I believe so. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so that's just kind of that overall there. But with the overall Call of Duty though, it's kind of like moving into the like last two segments I just wanted to talk about in this video. It's look at the past Call of Duties where you say like Cold War, Vanguard, them cards are not done as well. The last good Call of Duty was Modern Warfare. Cold War was absolute garbage. I skipped out on Vanguard because it was absolute garbage. And then Modern Warfare 2's come out. I think it's done better. It's done better than the other two Call of Duties because just saying. Because I only heard a lot of hate for Cold War, a lot of hate for Vanguard. And I think this number here as well, I could quickly show you this on screen really quickly as well, because I've kept this article aside just to show you. So it's like, look at this. Breaking news, Modern Warfare 2 is the fastest selling Call of Duty ever. Suppressed 800 million in the opening weekend, beating previous record of holder Modern Warfare 3 in 2011. More players online opening weekend than ever before the franchise history. That's mental. That's absolutely mental, that is. The fact it's done 800 million... didn't mean to press that. It's absolutely bizarre. It's like, did I have another one as well? I swear I took a screenshot of one. Call of Duty 2020 is the fastest selling Call of Duty game since 20. That's a different one. 600 million sold. It's like the most pre-ordered game on PlayStation and stuff like that. Like, this game has smashed records, and there's a lot of people playing it, but there's very like a majority of people being very negative. I'd love to like have like a percentage of people who are saying like they love or hate it. I might do a poll on Twitter maybe on later and just kind of like get an overall kind of like, do you love Call of Duty or do you hate it? To find out an overall ratio, because I genuinely would love to know. But it's not going to be the same this COD. It's not going to be the same. It's quite a weird one with it, because there's also quite a lot of people as well with this Call of Duty as well kind of thought it was actually a remastered or it's a continuation from Modern Warfare and stuff like that. So there's a lot of confusion with this game. A lot of people, I think that's why it's also done a lot of numbers as well, because I think a lot of people were thinking it was a remastered and stuff like that because they're using the same tagline, Modern Warfare 2. But personally myself, I think they should have done Modern Warfare 2.0 or something like that, because it's a different Modern Warfare 2 in a way, but it's a reimagining. It's a reimagining. That's the thing, like especially like the campaign and stuff like that. There's no connections to the previous games other than the characters, but it's a whole fresh story and stuff like that. There's been a lot of confusion with that, and I've had to pull people aside and generally talk to them and stuff like that, which is quite a surprising thing, really. Which I've had to do that because people generally thought it was a remastered, but it's not. But yeah. I am going to start wrapping up now this video because I feel like I've kind of said everything I wanted to kind of say, really. But just ending on this, just a recap, all right? Just a quick well, not really a quick recap, just remembering. Call of Duty is doing all these things, but they're also trying to entice new players, casual players and stuff like that, but also trying to keep the core foundations, their community, the hard, like the people who play the Call of Duty year in, year out, even if it's a good game or a bad game. They're trying to keep them happy, but they're also trying to entice new people into the game and try to keep Call of Duty alive, going into this new era of Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is going into a new era now. Like, every 2 years, we're going to get a Call of Duty. We're not going to get daily Call of Duties anymore. We're going to be having one solid game for 2 years. So they're trying to find a way of bringing a bit of casualness to the game and for the next 2 years, because... yeah, you can sweat it out on here for the next 2 years, but you're just gonna get a bit bored really quickly. So I think they're trying to find it's a new thing they're trying out, I think. So it's gonna take them probably a few Call of Duties to kind of find a foundation. Like Activision will work with Treyarch, work with Sledgehammer, work with Infinity Ward to find like the perfect combo for the games and stuff like that, because they're trying to entice some casual players in, but also trying to retain their current audience. And I think it's a lot of jigsawing together this new era of Call of Duty in a way. But I quite like what they're doing. I rate this game really highly, and I can see myself playing this quite regularly. And I've missed having a casual Call of Duty because I have really slowed down on playing first-person shooters, and it's quite nice to have a shooter back in my life a little bit, where I can just pick up my controller for an hour, play a few good games, a few bad games, and be like, you know what? I've had my fix. I'm going to go do some chores now, sort of thing. And that's what I think they're trying to do. Like, lean into then people would want to pick up a quick game, really, for a few hours or an hour, sort of thing. But also trying to keep in people who are playing the game for 12 hours a day and stuff like that. So, yeah. I think, don't be too harsh on them. Just look at Battlefield 2042. I think we could be a way worse situation, but I feel like we got a good core game here. They'll keep adding to it. More stuff is coming. Season 1's just around the corner. We've got a lot of new maps coming over the next year, especially Modern Warfare 2 Classics. And I think we've got Warzone as well. So it's early days. It's only not even been a week yet. A lot of people bitching about the game, but I think for a foundation of a game, we're off to a good start, in my opinion. And it's only get added more and more and more and more over the next 2 years. And I can't wait to see where Modern Warfare 2 goes in the next 2 years. I genuinely am excited. The fact this game is going to be in my life for the next 2 years. And hopefully it's going to be a part of your life for the next 2 years as well. So just always remember, we could be worse. We could be Battlefield 2042, all right? Could be that. Or if you hate that game that much, go play Vanguard, because I'm sure you'll quit Vanguard very quickly and come back to this game, all right? So thank you very much for watching. Do let us know in the comments down below what's your opinion. I'd love to have a discussion with you in the comments down below, because each to their own. I've got my opinion. I'm fighting the positive corner because I'm looking at it very positive. Some people will be very negative. So get the comments down below. Keep it neutral. Remember as well, everyone has their opinions. But so keep it nice and not too aggressive at each other, right? But thank you very much for watching. Leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Ding dong the bell to be notified when brand new videos are uploaded. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.